This is Tin Caps Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Getting ready for a Saturday night clash between these two Hoosier State rivals at Four Winds Field. Here on Tin Caps on deck back, but Tin Caps infielder in Jonathan Vastine. Let's go back to yesterday in the first inning. 7 runs allowed in the opening frame. What were the emotions to find a way to get that comeback win after a tough first frame?
Yeah, I mean, I think the good part about it was the first inning that we went down that far. I think really, Jake came in the dugout and said the same thing. We are all thinking it's a long game. There's plenty of innings left, so it was more of like, chip away, get 1 or 2 an inning, and as long as we score in every inning, keep them from scoring. I think, we all knew there was a chance to stay in that game.
Second inning, a home run, your 4th of this season, 5th now here at the professional level. What were you looking for going up there, and what was the thought process in the back of your mind?
Yeah, he's got a lower arm slot, so he's got, a good ride to his heater. So we were all kind of just hunting the fastball, and then he kind of left the sweeper up, and I was fortunate enough to put a good swing on it, and it carried over the wall, which kind of, I guess, got the momentum started a little bit, and then, everyone kind of started rallying hits together after that.
They get 1 run, you guys add on 4 more, and you're right back within 3. When was there a thought in your mind, okay, we're back in this, we have a shot?
Yeah, I mean, I really think it came down to, it was one of the innings where Zach got a hit, and then, Kaysen got a hit, and then Doogie scored both of them, and then it really started to get kind of close, and it was 4 runs, 3 runs is really, super manageable at that point, knowing what our offense is capable of with McCoy and Jake and all them. So, there was really 4 runs was kind of that point where I was like, yeah, this is pretty obtainable.
Here Tin Caps infielder in Jonathan Vastine. Let's start in that 9th inning. First pitch of the frame, Alex McCoy deposits a baseball nearly out of this ballpark. How much juice did that add to this lineup in this dugout?
Well, first off, I mean, that was probably the farthest ball I've ever seen hit in my life. But, he's been doing this all year so far, and, there's never a doubt when that part of the lineup comes up. So that was kind of just a spark we needed. Grayson Moore, who, was my teammate at school, he's a good arm, a really great arm, and, we didn't get much off of him while he was throwing. So to see McCoy strike him like that, it was like, all right, we can get a hold of him now. He's leaving some pitches middle, and, swing started a compound after that.
When he came into the ball game, did you give a little bit of a scouting report to the rest of this team, what you saw back out there at Vanderbilt?
Yeah, of course, a little bit. It's been a few years since he's been at Vanderbilt. His repertoire has probably definitely gotten a little bit better. His pitchability is a lot better. He's a competitor on the mound and a great dude. So, I told everybody kind of what my thoughts were facing him at school, and, we kind of went from there.
3 batters later, Jack Costello, the double to make it a 1-run ball game. Tying runner out there in scoring position. What were you going up there looking for?
Again, it kind of goes back to it. This team, they throw a lot of fastballs, but they also have some good breaking balls behind their fastballs. So it was really kind of just staying on time for the heater, trying to drive it up the middle, and then, if he leaves spin up, you kind of do what you can with it and put a good swing on it.
Payoff pitch, you lace that double out towards right center field. What were the emotions, one, hitting second, knowing that you tied the ball game up, and then just a couple batters later coming home to score on that Kaysen Wells single, the go-ahead and game-winning runs?
I mean, it was so fun. It was so awesome to be a part of that, knowing that, that's a huge comeback that we came back from, and to know that we came back from down 7 as a team, that makes any other comeback feel easy. A lot of emotions involved, especially, haven't been doing what I wanted to do. So being able to be a part of that and help this team win that game was a really big deal for me.
This team as a whole has dealt with some adversity this season, but it's never really felt like this clubhouse has dealt with that adversity or really put themselves down too much throughout this year. What's the mentality for this clubhouse to deal with some of the adversity here in the early going?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all goes back to Johnny Matthews. I mean, our head coach, he keeps the locker room and the clubhouse very, very light. He allows us to play this game. It's a long season. There's a ton of games to be played, and we're not gonna be stuck on a couple games, a couple losses, especially knowing that we all have a ton of fun playing together, and at any point in time it could be over for any of us. So just to have fun with each other, go out to eat, play a game, and not really be stuck on the losses helps the season and the wins come easier.
13 comeback wins this season. Second straight Friday, you guys come back in the 9th inning. How are you guys able to anchor down in those tough spots to stay resilient?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it goes back to trusting each other, trusting that next guy up, whether it's, 1 through 9, we're all kind of knowing we're going to put something together, and, if it's a homer or if it's a error or whatever the case is, you put the ball in play, you're doing your job for the next guy up, and it's really just passing it on to each other.
Early in the season, both Jake Cunningham as well as Alex McCoy went out to Pegs. They keep going to breakfast a lot throughout this season. I heard earlier this week, pretty much the entire team nearly went out there to get a couple of bites to eat. How has that built this group a little bit, the camaraderie on this team?
It's obviously it's a lot of fun. It's a good group to have. Pitchers all hang out with us. Everyone kind of hangs out together. We'll sit in the lobby, play cards, stuff like that. it really goes back to just you're with each other every single day for however many months this season goes on for, and you're going to spend more time with these guys than you are your actual family. So it's just being able to go have dinner or breakfast with these guys is just, it's a huge deal. It goes a long way, and obviously they joke around about Pegs having hits in it, but it's more of just that the family aspect to it. Just gives you more comfortability, knowing just playing for that guy.
Final thing for you, just 2 games left in this series. What do you guys got to do to win these final 2?
Yeah, I think we just got to play our game. I think we just got to keep everything simple, make the plays on defense, and just keep stacking at bats like we did last night. Just one man at a time, not try to do too much, and, go out there and play game.
Sounds good. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Jonathan Vastine, Tin Caps infielder. We get going. Starting laps at first pitch coming up next on Tin Caps on Deck.
Podcasts by Federated Media.